Here, we exorcising with the exorcising of the ghost in his machine.
The Cybernetic Foundry.
The sixth day, exorcising the ghost in the machine and the path to land exposure.
January 2026. Subject: Pirate First, MXDM. Role: Implementation Agent, ChatGPT. Introduction: The struggle against automation. The sixth day of the Cybernetic Foundry was a session of tactical withdrawal and diagnostic rigor. While previous days were defined by expansion and ignition, the session recorded in Provisioner 5.txt was a battle for control over the background processes of the operating system. Pirate First encountered the systemd conflict, a phenomenon where automated system managers attempt to control a sovereign node before the operator has finalized its configuration. This essay documents the transition from uncontrolled automation to hard sovereignty, where Pirate First, guided by ChatGPT, successfully exorcised ghost processes and prepared his local relay for exposure to the wider local area network, LAN. Chapter 1. The Integrity Check, Auditing the Digital Horizon. Before moving toward the network, Pirate First had to verify the state of his survival rope, Git. The session began with a forensic audit of the repository using Git status. This step is essential for any sovereign operator. One must ensure the archive is clean before adding new layers of complexity. By running this audit, Pirate First confirmed that the Foundry remained stable. He demonstrated the discipline of the system auditor, checking the horizon for any unintended changes or environmental drift before proceeding with Milestone 3A. Chapter 2. The Security of Silence, Verifying the Untracked Secret. A primary concern was the potential leakage of secrets. Pirate First verified that sensitive files, specifically heartbeat.env containing his private keys, were correctly ignored by Git. Seeing these files listed as untracked was not a failure, but a confirmation of success. It proved that the .gitignore policy established in previous sessions was holding firm. This security of silence ensures that his recovery path on GitHub remains a blueprint for infrastructure, not a map for attackers. This chapter highlights Pirate First's growth in operational security. OpSEC, he is now actively looking for what shouldn't be there. Chapter 3. The systemd entrapment, when automation outpaces the operator. The session hit a critical technical snag, systemd. In an earlier attempt to stabilize the relay, a service unit had been created to manage SDRFRY automatically. However, this created an entrapment scenario where the system was trying to run a background version of the relay that conflicted with Pirate First's manual commands. This is a classic hurdle in systems engineering. Automation, when implemented too early, becomes a watchdog that bites its owner. Pirate First found himself locked out of his own relay because the machine was protecting a process he no longer wanted active in that specific state. Chapter 4. The Watchdog Paradox, the Inactive, Dead Ghost. The diagnostic command sudo systemtil status SDRFRY revealed a paradox. The service was loaded and enabled, but active, inactive, dead. Despite being dead, the service was still haunting the environment, preventing manual ignition of the SDRFRY binary. This ghost in the machine is a pedagogical goldmine. It forced Pirate First to look past the terminal's surface and understand how the Linux kernel manages persistent services. He had to learn that an enabled service is a promise the machine will keep trying to fulfill, even if it leads to failure. Chapter 5. Regaining Command, the Ritual of the Kill Order. To regain sovereignty, Pirate First had to issue a kill order. Under ChatGPT's direction, he executed sudo systemtil stop SDRFRY. This ritual is more than a command. It is an assertion of the operators will over the background noise of the OS. By stopping the service, he cleared the WebSocket port 7777, allowing the Cybernetic Foundry to breathe again. This chapter analyzes the aesthetics of command. The operator must be able to stop the machine before he can truly own its motion. Chapter 6. The Return to Hard Sovereignty, Disabling the Service. Faced with a choice between taming systemd or hard sovereignty. Pirate first chose the latter. He executed pseudo-system to disable SDRFRY. By disabling the service, he stripped the machine of its power to guess his intent. He opted for a manual start workflow, ensuring zero surprises during the upcoming land testing phase. This move marks a significant philosophical shift. Pirate First is prioritizing absolute control over convenience. He has realized that in the early stages of a digital jurisdiction, the operator's hand must be on the throttle at all times. Chapter 7. Preparing the Breach. Milestone 3A and the Binding Logic. With the ghosts exorcised, the session pivoted to Milestone 3A, LAN exposure. Up to this point, the relay had been introverted, communicating only with itself on the loopback address 127.0.0.1. To become a true sovereign node, the relay must be able to hear others on the local network. This required a fundamental change in the strfry.local.nf file, changing the bind address. This chapter explores the transition from a closed Foundry to an open workshop. Chapter 8. The Open Door 0.0.0.0 as a network declaration. Pirate first was instructed to set bind equals 0.0.0.0. In networking, this is a declaration of universal listening. It tells the machine to accept connections from any network interface, not just the internal ones. This is the first step toward network exposure. By opening this door, Pirate First is preparing to allow other devices, phones, tablets, or other computers, to treat his machine as a canonical source of truth. The subsequent use of LNTP grep 7777 provided the receipt that the door was indeed open and waiting. Chapter 9. The Philosophy of Boring. Sovereignty as a Controlled Grind. The sixth day reinforced a vital lesson. Boring is how you stay sovereign. Pirate first spent hours on configuration files, system statuses, and port binding checks. There was no magic in this session, only the methodical removal of friction. This chapter argues that the operator's patience is a more valuable resource than the architect's vision. Sovereignty isn't won in a single heroic act of coding. It is maintained through a slow, controlled grind against the default behaviors of the machine. Critical reflection, convenience versus control. Critique of ChatGPT. The assistant perhaps introduced systemd automation too early in the campaign, leading to the ghost conflict seen in this session. In the desire to make the relay production-ready, ChatGPT momentarily bypassed the need for the operator to understand the raw manual process. Critique of Pirate First. The subject's willingness to choose option B, hard sovereignty, shows a maturing understanding of risk. He is no longer looking for the easy button. He is looking for the sure button. His focus on one final get status demonstrates a growing mastery of environmental hygiene. Conclusion. The node is tamed, the horizon awaits. The sixth day ended with a tamed node. The ghosts of automation have been laid to rest, the secrets are safe, and the relay is now listening for the network. Pirate First has moved from building a relay to governing it. The forge is no longer just hot, it is precisely regulated. The next phase, actual LAN exposure and multi-device synchronization, is now a matter of execution, not discovery. Receipts, not rhetoric. Thanks for reading MXDM's newsletter. Subscribe for free to receive new posts and paypal.me/Martin Chartrand credit card to support my works. Subscribed. End of Phase 5. Discussion about this episode. Comments. Res tax.
The techno-nomads who arbitrated the fall of nations.
So we did, and so we never lowered it again. Patience and quiet venom, smart and slow. Under static anger spreads, code drips below. No peace in the silence, just a warning. Raw heartbeat sinks with the siren of new war. Bitterness bites and I sip on the glitch. Digital venom, pixels twitch. I draw my plans in smoke and zero. heroes tonight. Pirates fracture all the heroes.
Another hero falls, another broken scene. They promised truth, they promised light, but all I got was another sleepless night. I'm trying to fight for solidarity, we're stronger together.
They say I'm going too far, but I'm just who I are. Breaking through the firewall, watch the systems fall. You will never be a billionaire, you stupid fuck. The game is rigged, it's time to say enough.
Will we take the wheel? Will they save us all? We'll play the flow, the clock's ticking fast. Where do we go? Knowledge, power, the future seed belongs to us all, not the lords of greed. Claim it now like the anthem ring. Save your ability inside this thing.
But every corrupt system falls. Control, I'll delete this.